Okay guys, today's July 11th. In June, we just crossed $250 million per month. The number's 100,000. We just crossed $100,000 in monthly recurring revenue through Stripe in the short form content agency. To be honest with you, this is a milestone I've been after for a really long time as an entrepreneur. I know ironically a lot of you guys that watch this channel make a lot more than this, but hey, I'm really proud of it and could not be more pumped about getting here. I'm not gonna lie, I'm excited about it. Okay, sue me. Just kidding. Don't sue me, please. Actually, don't sue me though. Like for real though, do not sue me for this. So the last update I made was on December 1st or something like that, going over our sales, which was about 42,000 in sales. Since then, a lot has changed, a lot of growth. And the best part is, I haven't taken a sales call since April 3rd. The idea of this video is I want to break this down mostly for myself. That's actually why I make most of these videos, is mostly just for me because I'm selfish. And if I ever got hit in the head with a coconut or something, at least I'd be able to replicate my process to extracting myself from sales and letting a company grow on its own. And I want to really state the fact that this is my story for how we got to this number of 100K and hopefully much more and beyond. And it's going to be a little bit untraditional. And so we didn't really follow that same method that so many people do, where you hit, 100 or 400K in revenue per month before you hire your sales guy. Okay. And so that's the secret sauce here. I ended up hiring kind of a team of people that basically are able to come in and do what I do, if not even better, because it's kind of segmented out. There's different roles now that exist to do the cold outreach all the way to getting on the calls and closing and all those amazing things. Really what's held me back this long is the limiting belief that, hey, you're not good enough to hire out sales until you reach a certain level. And it's a little bit arbitrary where that level is. I know a lot of people that we all look up to, Jeremy Miner, Cole Gordon, Alex Hormozi, and some of those other people like that. They've taken all these sales calls and they're in a position where they're a sales leader. And so then they usually start sales consulting agencies or sales education agencies. So that was like their first business after they mastered a skill, which is not a bad way to go about it. But for the average business owner, I don't think we need to be taking quite as many sales calls as we do. God forbid, maybe we don't need to be taking any at all. If you're anything like me and you really care about your service that you've created, you had this vision, you put the pieces together, you create an offer, and then you put this thing out into the marketplace, book your calendar full, and people start saying negative things about it, and you're taking all this heat on these sales calls, it really does kill your energy as a founder, especially once you've already proven product market fit. People want it, but you're still gonna deal with the drag of rejection on these sales calls, which just kills your motivation. And at least for me, I kind of take that stuff personally. If somebody comes in and says, I don't know, I don't like it, I don't like what you're doing, like, this is a part of me. And so I can't be the first line of defense to do every single sales call. Otherwise, I go down the path of, it's kind of hard to admit this, but a little bit of self-sabotage. I've got this knack for cold outreach, and so I can drive all the leads I want, but I would kind of not drive as many leads knowing that I'm going to have to take all the calls. I actually don't know if I've ever admitted that to anyone, but maybe you're doing that yourself. You just don't want to take all that rejection and all like the messiness that sales actually is. And I love sales. I love thinking about sales. I even love talking to people and meeting people, but booking my day full of sales calls actually doesn't sound like anything very enticing to me at this point. Pillar number 2 is getting your collateral straight. I would quite literally be getting on these calls. I would literally get on these calls before documenting all this and just shoot from the hip and not even have like a pitch deck to go off of. And I actually had really good close rates. It was like upwards of 50%. And I would just talk and talk and talk, and we'd build a relationship and build rapport, and I would send them a thing and they would pay a Stripe link. And that's the kind of stuff that doesn't scale. Like, that's crazy. And I didn't even think about that until it didn't work a couple times. And I'm like, what am I doing wrong? Well, I can't make someone be me, but I can train someone on a very defined process, which I just didn't have before. After I made my video in December, was I started documenting everything that I'm doing as a salesperson. We called it our master sales sheet, and it linked to about 40 other documents that have training, material, and how everything works on the sales side of the business. Now, before this, I had massively failed with My last person I tried training, Spencer, he ghosted me. I haven't even heard from him. I haven't even heard from him in the last, I don't even know. I'm learning what happened so wrong with Spencer. I said, okay, well, first we need to start building the collateral. So that's pitch decks, SOPs, really anything that's going to be used on a sales call, backup material, your contracts, anything like that that's important needs to be very, very well documented before you ever even start looking for your salesperson. I would say if there was one thing that you worked on today, it's better defining your pitch deck and standardizing at least an upfront offer. That's just the same offer every time, and you get very specific about who you pitch it to, and just make sure you have everything documented. Don't be a dummy. Now that you've fixed your mindset beliefs and you've documented your entire sales process for how to go from start to finish, the entire thing, now it's time to bring in the right person. Now you have a who problem. Like I said, I had a ton of problems with my first few hires that I tried. And looking back, it was really obvious what those were. There are 3 C's we can go off of to see if they're going to be a good fit. The first one is capacity, capability, and then commitment. So one way to think about it is, do they actually have the time? Do they have the capacity? Maybe they're a brilliant person, maybe they're an A player, but do they actually have the capacity, or are they taking on other jobs? Are they traveling in a van across the country? Yes, that happened. That was one of our sales guys that we tried. Then the second one is, do they have the capability? Are they able? Maybe they're not even really that good, or maybe they're great, but somewhere in the middle of the capability to actually get the job done. Are they a capable person even? And that's kind of one thing I'm looking for in the sales side. Then the final one is, do they have the commitment? Are they willing to, do they want it? Do they want this job? That's another one. They might be the most A-player person. They might have all of the ability in the world. They might be fully capable, but maybe they don't even really buy into your mission or really want it, so they're not committed. But if they have all 3 of those, you can almost turn anyone into a great salesperson. I did hire someone who came in. He's a little bit younger, 21, 22 years old. He was officially hired in February of 2024, and we immediately started doing a daily call, starting to go over the material, checking in, going over my calls that I was doing, recording them, sending them over. Lots and lots of FaceTime, almost like an apprenticeship, just learning how all this stuff works. Now, if I were to show you one of the original videos of him trying to do a call, you would be like, no. Point being, you can really turn anyone who's that motivated and has that much drive, one of these young bucks, into someone who is great. Close rate right now is 42.5%. So really, really solid. Yeah, through March, April. Yeah, so 6-7 weeks of just training somebody to become a good salesperson. And then from there, you're gonna have all these other things that come up. So we didn't really have an awesome script. We had a deck and a bunch of training, so we really understood the offer. But then beyond that, we're still working on scripting to this day. That's what we did all morning this morning, is we had to watch some training from a sales group and learn how to kind of optimize and get better about tonality and how to ask the right questions and how to really dig in to the pain point of why they're on the call. All right, guys, thanks for watching today's video. Catch you next time, I guess. Oh, by the way, I'm gonna be doing more videos like this, a little more off the cuff. Do you like them? Do you hate them? Leave a comment below. It makes my whole world just skyrocket, and I need that.